Hey everyone, Coping Skills here, back with another reaction to Avi Kaplan, as I like to call him, the Avi Lama, because he is definitely Zen. And this time, we're going back to one of his early songs. Before he was doing solo work, he did a couple songs with the Sequoias. So, Avril and the Sequoias with Quarter Past Four.
Quarter past four and I'm feeling alright. I'd love to close my eyes, but I can never rest my mind. Thinking where I'm going to and where I've been, while 1,000 other worries are floating in the wind. And I can't keep them all away, but it turns out fine. It turns out fine. And I can't keep them all away, but it turns out fine. It turns out fine.
And just a gripping song so far. Just really deep. I don't know how to describe it, but he's doing such a good job of really connecting with me during the song. It's really almost like gut-wrenching at the same time it is interesting. And I think that's a pretty good description of kind of what's going on in the song. If you're new to the channel, I'm a licensed mental health counselor. Started doing reaction videos to try to raise mental health awareness. So you'll probably get my perspective if something relates to mental health relevant topics or not. And this one, instead of quarter past four, it could just be called anxiety or worry or fear, because those mental health topics are one and the same, and they're what he's talking about. He said, quarter past four, and I'm feeling all right. I would love to go to sleep, but my mind is racing. I'm thinking about where I've been, what I've done, but also what I'm gonna do. And then that line, there's like a million other worries floating around there too. And it's a beautiful description of what anxiety is like, that racing mind. Like my description there of it being kind of gut-wrenching and interesting at the same time is anxiety, from a really broad perspective, is usually seen as a very negative thing. However, being overly anxious is definitely a negative thing. By having some level of anxiety, it's kind of having some level of alertness or awareness. Those are good things. My daughter's in nursing school right now, and nursing school is super challenging. My wife's been through nursing school. She's a nurse as well. And my daughter's always kind of struggled a little bit with test taking anxiety. I did some research into it, and there's a certain level of anxiety, like with test taking, that keeps you alert, second guessing, very meticulous in your reading, in manic depressive disorder, right? Or bipolar disorder. It's identified by this shift. It's a type of depression, but being manic is a type of anxiety. You're kind of driven to go, 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 go. Well, that can kind of be harnessed for really positive things. So it's this really interesting space of anxiety being this thing that we can use, we can wield a little bit to get a lot of things done, to be alert and aware as a protective measure. However, when you're overly anxious and that anxiety grips you, like Avi is saying here, with a racing mind and not being able to let go of the things and worrying about everything, well, that's the negative kind of anxiety. So I just kind of want to articulate kind of the two sides to anxiety. Typically, we kind of push it into the side of really, really negative, and for the most part, it is when it gets too big. Just like a little bit of sadness, well, that can kind of prompt you to be more compassionate, right? It can prompt you to be more sympathetic or empathetic to somebody else's needs. So it can be wielded in the right way too, just like anger. And those are the big three negative emotions: anxiety, sadness, and anger. Well, sometimes righteous anger is justified. Somebody's breaking into your house or somebody trying to snatch away your child. That anger, that's not a bad anger. That's an anger that's going to prompt you to intervene, to snatch your kid back, or to protect your house. So just kind of want to paint the picture because in the mental health world, a lot of times we're focusing on the negative aspects of those, and the negative aspects are predominantly what bring people into counseling. But there is this layer within these emotions. It's also important to understand it can be funneled into some positive things as long as it's measured and it's just the right amount. But probably the most important part of this song so far is that transition out of the verse into the chorus. Everything turned out okay. Everything's going to be fine. It's okay. It's going to be all right. So even though the worry, the racing mind, all these things are preventing you from getting sleep, the fear isn't justified sometimes, and it'll turn out okay. No, that's not a message of false hope. That's him looking back and realizing that all those times I was worried, all those times that I had a racing mind, it felt like everything was on my mind, turned out okay. Something to help guide you out of being overly anxious.
And I can't keep them all away, but it turns out fine. It turns out fine. Never really thought I'd get to see this day, where my heart is in the future, while my body rides the wave. Thankful every day I get to rise again, when my eyes start to open as the sunlight warms my skin. And I have troubles every day, but it turns out fine. It turns out fine. And I fight to keep them all away, but it turns out fine. It turns out fine.
I really love how he's layering his voice there. It sounds so beautiful, adds a lot of extra texture. And you could tell this is one of the earlier songs because, his beard is sort of kind of pentatonics safe, right? But nowadays he's got the long beard. But I think he recorded this at a time where he had some family stuff going on, and pentatonics touring was really weighing on him. And he was feeling kind of the weight of the world and had a million different things to worry about, he was able to make it through those days. I love that line where he's like, I never thought I'd see the day where I was able to look back and see that my body has made it through to today and I get to enjoy another day because my mind, it was not there for a while, but my body rode that wave, maybe willpower, maybe help, maybe hope, maybe love. It rode some sort of wave into the next day. A beautiful thought, definitely ripe with insight into kind of the mental health ongoings of anxiety.
And I fight to keep them all away. But it turns out fine. It turns out fine.
Well, yeah, that was beautiful. A gorgeous song, amazing songwriter. You just know he's being genuine and vulnerable. And man, it's just awesome. Man, I really enjoyed that one. Thank you so much for the suggestion. Well, if you enjoyed the content, please consider subscribing, maybe hitting that like button and leaving a comment below of what I should react to next for Mavi here. If you really want to support the channel, you can go to the description of the video. There you'll find a link to buy me a coffee where you can buy a priority song request or even schedule some one-on-one time with me. But something will probably pop up over here. You can click on it and keep watching with me, and we will see you on the next one.